Kirby's colorful world finally gets shown in color, and his own color is officially pink. His second game, Kirby's Adventure, was a massive glow-up in many ways. Following a very quick introduction on the Game Boy, Kirby's journey to the NES provided a game several times as long. That was necessary as Kirby's Dream Land was frequently criticized for being much too short, even on the Game Boy. Surprisingly, Kirby was also given a huge new function which the developers at HAL didn't have to do, but everyone is glad they did. The copy abilities are a crucial part of Kirby's character and prolonged success. It was an interesting choice to build this game on the original Nintendo more than 2 years after the Super Nintendo's launch. However, it proved to be the right decision when this standalone NES game outsold each of Kirby's later Super Nintendo titles. Before even beginning the game, there's one thing in particular that impressed me. I've never seen an NES game that teaches players so much, since the limited cartridge space often forced the explanations into a separate manual. Any questions you have should be answered by text within the game. The game even loads up with a simple tutorial for drawing Kirby, which is a cute way to begin. Then, if you wait around on the title screen, the game launches into an in-depth explanation of Kirby's mechanics. Past players already knew he could inhale enemies or puff up with air to fly, but inhaling enemies just became much more powerful. Most enemies have a special power that Kirby can use after swallowing them. By pressing down on the D-pad with an enemy in his mouth, he earns a copy ability, and it lasts until he takes damage. The tutorial previews several different abilities, as well as extra functions that I wouldn't have thought of myself. For example, inhaling 2 different types of enemies allows you to spin the wheel and obtain any copy ability in the game, or you can press select to intentionally lose the ability. You can even inhale mini-bosses after defeating them to obtain the rarest copy abilities. The game begins in Vegetable Valley with nothing to do but enter a door labeled 1, bringing you into the real level. The first enemy is a Waddle Doo, which can be eaten for the beam ability, and if you miss this opportunity, the Waddle Dees offer nothing to copy. There's a ledge to fly over reminiscent of the beginning of Kirby's Dream Land, teaching the player to fly. It's a simple start, mostly teaching the enemy functions instead of giving platforming challenges. You could also gain abilities like Spark or Fire, and if you need a reminder for what your ability does, the pause screen always has helpful text to describe it. Whenever you reach the end of a level, there's a bonus game in the clouds. Launching to the highest cloud earns a 1-up while the lower levels add to your score. I don't know if the score is anything besides a number. Kirby then returns through the door that began the level, and the walls around are pushed back to reveal a new level. Vegetable Valley, while called Level 1, is more like World 1 since it's made up of 5 stages and a boss. You have to play through all the levels in order, but various mini-games are also available. After the first stage, you can play Crane Fever, which is by far the easiest to earn 1-ups in. Later minigames include Egg Catcher and Quick Draw, where my human reaction times let me down. These games can only be entered once, while museums can be entered as often as you want. They display enemies who can't hurt you, but Kirby can get close enough to inhale them and copy their abilities. Vegetable Valley and Ice Cream Island are great areas that introduce everything you need to beat the game. By the time you reach the third set of levels, Butter Building, a new objective becomes available. Several stages contain big switches that blast away more parts of the wall on the stage selection screen. While I wish there could be full-length levels hidden behind these, it's mostly fun to search for this optional content. It still unlocks bonus minigames and similar doors. The first switch is hiding in plain sight, and you'll have to look for a secret entrance to reach it. Later switches often require copy abilities to reach, offering fun puzzles to solve in the process. There are secrets to find in the earlier levels, although none as satisfying as these switches. Occasionally, you'll be interrupted by Meta Knight, who became a series staple. He seems to be both friend and foe, first appearing to give you invincibility candy, and later calling his soldiers to fight against you. These sections can only be cleared when the entire army is defeated. As you approach the end of Orange Ocean, level 6, Meta Knight personally challenges Kirby to a sword duel in order to reach the Rainbow Resort and the Fountain of Dreams. It seems that he's just checking your worth and means no harm. The Fountain of Dreams is the final destination. The story is about Dreamland's inhabitants suddenly having nightmares, and Kirby discovers King Dedede swimming in the fountain. The Star Rod has been stolen, and Kirby needs to bring it back to save everyone's dreams. Nothing too crazy, of course, just a cute story for a cute game. Clearly, Dreamland has a sweet tooth, as every level after Vegetable Valley is named after something sweet. I also love the alliteration: Ice Cream Island, Butter Building, Grape Garden, Yogurt Yard, Orange Ocean, and Rainbow Resort, where you really can taste the rainbow. I have to say, I am surprised by by the color style chosen for this game. The debut Game Boy game couldn't add any color due to the system limitations, but it did well to make players imagine colors. Kirby's Adventure was the first opportunity to add colors to this world, and I expected them to be bright and pop out. In reality, the artists opted for pastel shades, keeping the color aspects more subtle. I like the look of this game, although I think this world called for more diverse shades. This could of course still be a hardware limitation. The NES palette couldn't handle too many colors at once. However, I found it strange when many areas were left white and gray as if still on the Game Boy. The music, on the other hand, is all excellent. Jun Ishikawa was back to manipulate the 8-bit beeps and bloops into very energetic songs. It does its part to add more color itself, and there's a good range of songs that you'll hear throughout the game. The whole time I was playing, I was impressed by how complete the game felt, especially after the first game. The difficulty curve is natural, and it was fun using more and more new copy abilities. It's interesting when you're only given one option for certain sections, as the game is giving you a chance to get comfortable with more skills. I felt like my favorite abilities weren't seen often enough, although it's my fault for losing them so quickly. There are some abilities that I struggled to use despite the pause menu's description, like the ball, and other immobile abilities like the stone felt like they were available at the wrong time. Of course, if you really wanted another ability, you shouldn't have taken damage, it's that simple. The switches also gradually get harder, and I have some complaints about them. Overall, this is a positive addition, just with some flawed execution. It was fun when they were introduced in Butter Building, and only 2 of the 6 stages had them here. Then, each area adds more switches until all 6 stages in Orange Ocean contain one. This coincided with them getting more annoying since a few of them required abilities from outside the stage. There's no easy way to find a stage with the ability needed, and I was unamused by that. If you're aiming to get a 100% completion on your file, you need to find all 17 switches hidden in the game, and your file will call you Hero of Lore. The good news is there's an indication for the stages that contain switches. Most of them are not on the level's main path, so it would be rough to find them without this feature. When you finish a stage and Kirby comes back through the door, it turns white if you fully completed it. If it doesn't change color and the star on it is still flickering, you're missing a switch. A couple switches are still in extremely obscure places, however. For example, in stage 6-3, you need the hammer ability to break this crate, but identical crates aren't broken by the hammer. The final switch is hidden through a door behind the moon in stage 7-6, which is easy to reach, but you have to know it's there. In the end, I went ahead to beat the game before collecting my last few switches, which made it more enjoyable. Plus, if you've already beaten a stage, you can exit it whenever you want if you replay it, a great quality of life feature when aiming for 100% completion. To this point, I haven't explored much of the level and world structure because it's fairly standard. The endgame structure was more unusual though. Rainbow Resort is a location for level 7, and it intriguingly starts off dark, as if someone turned off the rainbow. The music makes it feel like a happy place to be nonetheless. The opening with the laser copy ability was satisfying due to the way they bounced off the slopes, and definitely nothing narcissistic. The next stage is a mini-boss rush, which is nothing new, but it was interesting to see it this early. Kirby gradually climbs the mini-boss tower to the warp star that sends him high into the sky, and now it seems like he's really at the Rainbow Resort. As you'll see in the remaining 4 stages, Rainbow Resort isn't necessarily the hardest world at the end of the game. It's there to show brand new ideas, rewarding players for making it this far. Most notably, the last main stage is a trip through the 4 levels of Kirby's Dreamland. Everything returns to its monochrome ways, and none of the enemies give copy abilities just like the old game, while the music from Green Greens plays. If only the greens really were green, although it would be less obvious that this is a trip down memory lane. Each world ends in a boss as a separate stage. Rainbow Resort concludes with King Dedede himself, who has now learned to puff up with air and float like Kirby. Considering he has a powerful inhale, I have to wonder if Kirby and Dedede's mystery species are genetically related. It's not a terribly hard fight, nor is it a terribly hard game. However, a plot twist awaits. When Kirby caught Dedede in the Fountain of Dreams, he discovers that the Star Rod was broken into pieces and given to Dedede's friends. In clearing the 7 areas of the game, Kirby recovers all the pieces and is ready to restore the fountain's powers. Once Dedede is defeated, he begs Kirby not to replace the Star Rod, and it's not just a trick. With the Star Rod in place, Nightmare is accidentally released and absorbs the fountain's power before zooming up into the sky. It seems that Dedede was was not evil at all, and now he'll help by launching Kirby skyward with his powerful lungs. The final fights with Nightmare feel different to any other since you're fighting with the power of the Star Rod. It shoots star projectiles, and the first battle is like a shmup against an orb. The second battle, where Nightmare reveals himself, is on the surface of the moon. I settled at the right side of the screen and remained safe for most of the fight. Oh well, there's bound to be an oversight like that somewhere. The concept for Nightmare was fun, and it was a fairly satisfying ending anyway. The residents of Planet Popstar have their dreams returned to them. Once again, you are given the option of playing Extra Mode after beating the game, but you have to achieve 100% completion first. In this game, this means Kirby's starting health is decreased from 6 to 3, and his progress is not saved. So, game overs are old school, sending you back to the beginning. In the main mode, game overs don't have much effect. Your progress is saved with every stage completed, and deaths only force you to restart a subsection. If you can clear Extra Mode as well, your file names you the Superstar. I didn't attempt this, so I'm just a hero of lore. As I mentioned, it was surprising that HAL developed this game for the NES. The console was nearing the end of its life, and anyone still designing games for it was cramming everything they could onto the cartridges. That's obvious here, given the depth of mechanics and the number of stages. It's also obvious from how often gameplay slows down, although I wasn't often bothered by the lag. On top of this, the designers were very methodical in how they laid out all the enemies, making sure you couldn't just fly over each stage. The extra objectives are creative, but in a way feel like an afterthought. It's a solid game showcasing how much video games had evolved. Therefore, my final score for Kirby's Adventure will be 8.2 out of 10. I can recommend this game for a lot of people, although I don't know if I would play it again myself. I am, however, interested in the Game Boy Advance remake named Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. 9 years later, players could take Kirby's Adventure with them anywhere, and either go through the old game again or play a new game called Meta Nightmare. This remake is a little harder to find now though. The original Kirby's Adventure can be played as part of Kirby's Dream Collection on Wii and is available in the NES library with Nintendo Switch Online. Reactions in 1993 were excited to see Kirby's new ability. Nintendo Power previewed every single stage from Vegetable Valley to Grape Garden. They acknowledged that it was geared towards beginning players and their power rankings only totaled 15 out of 20. It seems like a respectable score, but I'm surprised it's this low. Electronic Gaming Monthly's panel were shocked by the improvement shown in this game, awarding it an average of 8.25 out of 10. And right there with them, Famitsu's average score was also 8.25 out of 10. That's an impressive score to receive from the harsh judges of Japan. Tell me, did you agree with the points I've made? What rating would you give Kirby's Adventure for the NES, initially released in 1993? Don't forget to use thumbs up copyability for 100% completion, and then inhale the subscribe button. Oh no, not again. I really need to stop inviting you to do that. Ah, good, thanks for clicking on it. As ever, thank you for watching, and please continue to be your own unique self. Whoa.